Hey guys, Brady here, and I just saw Beetlejuice, or I just call it Beetlejuice 2. Um, I saw this on Thursday afternoon. I saw the first show, the earliest showing I could get my eyeballs on, and it was at 3 o'clock IMAX. So, took my friend to go see it, and we both really enjoyed it. Um, I watched the first one the night before to prepare myself for Beetlejuice, because the first Beetlejuice is one of my favorite movies growing up, and it still holds up pretty well. And I like how in the second movie they utilize as much practical effects as possible. I think they use CGI very sparingly, and I like that they used old school filming techniques for this one scene. Like they shot, there's this one black and white scene, and you could tell by the way it's shot that they're using old school techniques to make it look like it takes place in the time period the film is that part of the movie is supposed to take place. And I like that. I appreciate that. And then also I like how they didn't clean up the effects for the sandworm scene. They made it look exactly like it looked in the 80s. They didn't try to modernize it or anything. Like it was crappy green screen back then. It's gonna be crappy green screen in this movie too. So props for Tim Burton for doing stuff like that for this movie. Not really giving a shit and just being like, yeah, this is what it looked like. We're not gonna enhance it in any way. I don't know. You gotta have to. I love the craftsmanship. Anyway, so Beetlejuice stars Michael Keaton, Winona Ryder, and Catherine O'Hara. They all three of them reprised their role from their first movie. Jeffrey Jones is not in this movie for obvious fucking reasons. I love what they do to his character. Spoiler alert, they kill him off in a plane crash and he gets eaten by a shark. And yeah, what they do in this movie, this movie is PG-13, but they push the boundaries for PG-13 because there's a lot of grotesque shit in this movie that should have gotten an R rating, but it's not. Like just it's gory, but it's PG-13. Like I don't know how they got away with some of the stuff they put in this movie, but it's great. Like I love the effects in this movie. It is so fucking good. Is it as good as the first movie? I may have to see it a few more times, but it may not be as good as the first movie, but it's pretty damn close to being as good as the first movie. It's pretty damn close. I had a blast with this movie. I had a blast with the first movie. This movie gave me everything I wanted and more. So yeah. Lydia Deetz, played by Winona Ryder. She's older now. She has a kid, played by Jenna Ortega, Jenna Ortega is slowly becoming one of my favorite actresses to see on screen. She's very intelligent. If you watch her interviews, she's very well spoken, very articulate. She seems very down to earth. I'm just watching some interviews with her now on my TV, and she doesn't come off as like your typical like Hollywood actor or actress. Like when I feel like when you're like listening to like an interview or whatnot with certain actors, you feel like they're reading like a script or whatever. But with Jenna Ortega, when she's being interviewed, she stutters. There's like a lot of ahs and ums when she speaks. I don't know. It's hard to explain. But anyway, so yeah, so Jenna Ortega plays Winona Ryder's daughter. Her name is Astrid. She thinks her mother is like this is a freak. She doesn't like. She thinks her mother's like whole seeing ghosting is bogus, and that she's just scamming people and whatnot. And then she meets this boy, and it's the love interest in the movie. You see him in the trailer. I thought he was a pretty cool character. Um, and what's it called? So Lydia's father dies. They kill him off, like I said earlier, and the whole movie is just about them dealing with the funeral and whatnot, and or dealing with his death and whatnot. And Justin, whatever the fuck his name is, I don't know, plays Lydia's agent or producer of her ghost show. Yeah, she's the host of this ghost show, like Ghost Hunters or whatever, or not Ghost Hunters, not really Ghost Hunters. It's more or less like a medium, Long Island Medium, like that show back in the year, like early mid 2000s, and she'll like interview like these people who think they have like ghosts in their house, and then she'll go in the house and like see if there's like any paranormal activity going on and whatnot. Yeah, you don't really see much of that except for like their opening scene in the movie. And so yeah, he plays his agent. He plays her agent, and he wants to marry her, and he does it in the most abrupt way possible, which is at the funeral. Well, not really the funeral, but at like the funeral after party. And yeah, so that's pretty much our movie. Lydia has to save Jenna Ortega from the ghost world because she made a deal unbeknownst to her that she would be trading lives with someone who's already dead. Spoiler alert, it's the boyfriend. But yeah. Am I missing anything? Tim Burton is back. He made a few iffy movies within the last couple of years. I thought Big Eyes was pretty good. I thought Miss Peregrine's, whatever the hell it's called, Home for Peculiar Children. I really enjoyed that movie. Not a huge fan of Dark Shadows. Frankenweenie was underrated. Dumbo was not the greatest movie. It was kind of boring at parts. But this is an excellent return to form for the old school Tim Burton, you know, like the late 80s, early 90s Tim Burton, like your Edward Scissorhand, your Sleepy Hollow, and all that. What else? Sorry, I'm all over the place. I don't know. Tim Burton's one of my favorite directors. He's probably in my top 5, maybe top 5 at least. He's only made a handful of movies that I disliked: Dark Shadows and maybe his Planet of the Apes remake. That's pretty much it. There's not much I disliked that he's directed. I wish he would have made his Addams Family movie. I know he made a TV show, but it's pretty much a Wednesday show because it's called Wednesday. I wish we would have gone his animated Addams Family movie. I think Addams Family lent itself to a Tim Burton adaptation, and I wish we would have gone that instead of what we got from 2019, which was supposed to be his movie at one point, but something happened. I guess creative differences, and so they got that director of Sausage Party to direct that movie, and the first half of that movie was really good, and then once Wednesday starts going to school, it turns into your stereotypical animated movie with this stupid slapped on message about differences and whatnot, and yada yada yada, and it made me not like the movie that much. Like, it went from being just like you're like a very different animated movie to just a very generic animated movie by the end of the movie, and ugh. But yeah. I like the jokes in this movie. I like that they poked fun at wokeness a few times, especially this one joke about how this person died at a protest because they dumped oil on themselves. I think it was one of the few people in the theater that got that joke. It was so fucking hilarious. I thought everyone in this movie was really good. I liked Catherine O'Hara in this movie. I liked how over the top she was. She brought the same energy she had in the first movie to this movie, and it worked. She had some of the best scenes in the movie. Michael Keaton, he's great as Beetlejuice. He was good. He was amazing in the first movie. He brought the same energy to this movie as well. It's like he never left the role. Like there hasn't been a Beetlejuice movie in like 30 something years, and he just slipped back into it very easily. If this wasn't a Tim Burton movie, it probably wouldn't be as good because only Tim Burton can make a movie like this. If it was like someone else trying to emulate Tim Burton's like style, it probably wouldn't. Like I said, it wouldn't have worked. And to see if like all these remakes, reboots, prequels, and whatnot, I wouldn't really count this as being one of those. Yes, it's a sequel, but it's a sequel that's been in the works for at least 2 decades now, maybe 3. They were trying to make a Beetlejuice 2 back in the 90s, and the fact that we finally got a Beetlejuice movie, a second one, is great. I hope there's a third one. I'm not sure if there's gonna be a third one. But yeah. Props to everyone in this movie. Willem Dafoe was good. But Monica Bellucci, she doesn't really do much in the movie. She's pretty much spends the entire movie just looking for Beetlejuice. She has maybe like 2 or 3 lines of dialogue in the entire movie that I remember. Yeah, I love her introduction in the movie. Her just stapling all of her body parts back together. Pretty horrific, actually. I loved it though. I love that they did that to the Bee Gees. Her stapling herself back up to the Bee Gees. That was pretty good. I love the wedding scene at the end. Them being the whole entire like people that went to their ceremony being sucked into their phones. I love the way they did that. I'm not sure if that was CGI or practical effects. Probably CGI. I don't know. It was a cool effect nonetheless. I don't care how they did it. It was pretty cool. I love the song they sang during it. Did it go on for a little bit too long? Maybe, but I still really enjoyed the scene. It wasn't like too distracting. I'll gonna give Beetlejuice 4 out of 5 stars. It's almost as good as the first movie, just almost. I have to see this movie a few more times. I'll probably add this to my Halloween rotation next year, as part of like my horror movie binge, or at least Halloween-esque movie binge. Horror-esque, I mean. And that's pretty much it. I highly recommend people go see Beetlejuice 2. We need more movies like this that just tell a good story, and then they don't put any focus on the message or the modern audience or DEI and whatnot. Their main focus is telling a good story with good characters, and that's all people want in Hollywood. No forced diversity bullshit. No dumb storylines about the message and then this and that and the other. It's just a good old-fashioned movie that felt like a 90s movie. and yeah,